This is Veldrin here again, and today I am bringing you a new battle report, and this time it's live action. And this is a game between me and the wonderful Mike Dennis, a member of the 186th Squadron in London, UK, and one of the hosts of the 186th Squadron Podcast. So look that up on SoundCloud and iTunes if you haven't listened to it. They're really good. And this is a game happening the Thursday before the one of the UK's qualifiers for the European Team Championship games. That's going to happen this summer in Greece. So I went to Autothrusters and met Mike there, where we're going to play 2 games to warm up and decide on lists for the big tournament on the weekend. And in this game, Mike is running Darth Vader with the TIE-X1 title, the Advanced Targeting Computer, Veteran Instincts, and an engine upgrade. And he's got Soontir with Push the Limit and Autothrusters, and Captain Yorr in the Lambda class shuttle with the Emperor on board. And I'm flying Darth Vader with the X1 title, the Advanced Targeting Computer, the Veteran Instinct upgrade, and engine upgrade. And I also got Soontir Push the Limit, Autothrusters, Royal Guard title, and Stealth Device, and Wampa, the new TIE fighter from the Gozanti class carrier, and finally a Black Squadron pilot with Crackshot. And this brings both of our lists to 99 points, so the initiative bid here is equal, and it'll be interesting to see who gets initiative in this game. The game was, the commentary here is recorded by Mike, recording his commentary, and then I'm going to edit that onto this film, and then I'm going to also add my own commentary whenever suitable and possible. So I'm hoping you are going to enjoy this. It's nice to be back doing video broadcasts and not just the vassal stuff. So in a bit here you'll see everything come up and get to hear Mike's beautiful voice.
And what I was thinking for, well, it's funny actually, because when we were setting up, we were making that joke, you know, with 2 identical high pilot skill arc dodgers. You know, whoever wins the initiative roll is basically just going to win this game, so we might as well just roll a dice and shake on it. I thought that was, I mean, that was fairly true. So I was thinking, if I don't win the initiative, I was thinking, first I'll see how initiative comes up, and then based on the result of that, I can make a plan and decide about what I think I should do. But if I lose the initiative and you choose to move second, then you're going to be arc dodging, and I'm going to have much less chance of arc dodging. So I need to be thinking about how I can leverage my arcs, and how bumping Soontir might help me to use to my advantage. If I keep my Soontir and my Vader sort of together, helping each other out, then I can bump your Soontir with my Soontir. I mean, you know, that was the idea, but I was concerned that your 2 TIE fighters would give you more jousting power than me, and that if you did choose to just joust me, or joust me with 3 ships and flank me with another, I'd be in serious trouble. I'd also lose the shuttle very quickly, and I thought the shuttle's my biggest leverage over you, because the shuttle, obviously Palpatine is incredibly strong. It's Captain Yorr on there as well, so he's bringing his ability to the table, and you know, once he's got, and you know, you've got more ships than me. So there we go, you've rolled for initiative, and intelligently you give it to me. We did discuss later on whether the benefits of that decision, and I don't know. I mean, you're even considering it here, and again, you know, it is of course gonna affect how we play. So I'm thinking here about how I'm going to place the asteroids. And I think, I'm thinking what I really want is to create. I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to dodge your arcs because you're moving second. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and create sort of a channel that you're forced to move at me through, so that, or I'm going to try and limit your arc dodging abilities to minimize your scope to do that as much as possible. The more you can arc dodge me, the more trouble I'll be in. You're out of my arc, I don't get any shots. I'm still using the 3 big asteroids here, I think, or maybe I'm using 2 big ones and a little one. You've taken the 3 big ones, and I've taken a big one and some littler and some smaller ones. And usually I take the big ones, but I think with the stress bot out there in force, and with TIE swarms around, I'm thinking I want to have more room for maneuvering, especially if Soontir's going to get double stressed. He's going to need big channels to or a lot of options to get away and clear his stress. And this is sort of I say a casual game. Obviously, I'm taking it very seriously. I'm playing to win, because why wouldn't I? I think it's always good to bring your A game, especially when you've got such a skilled opponent. You want to make sure you're getting the most practice out of it you can. So what I'm doing here essentially is creating this asteroid field I'm attempting to force you around. Like, what I really want is to basically force you to come straight down the board edge at me, or if you're going to come around the side, to force you to commit to that, so that I can either turn right or fly straight to face you. In my opinion, this will minimize your arc dodging opportunities, because having given me the initiative, arc dodging is the big leverage you've got over me now.
These are the debris floating off in space. Okay. So I'm gonna goes first. 44449.
So we're done asteroids now, and I'm just setting up the shuttle. And so that's why I put him in that corner. It's because he's sort of shielded there by the asteroids, and your approach through the asteroids is quite limited. I think it's not ideal at all if you try to come through the asteroids. It'd be great if you hit them, but I don't expect you to, because I think you're too good a pilot. What I do think is that it will limit the options on your dial for you. So essentially you'll be forced to come down that board edge, or tail around to the other board edge and come down that way. And I can sort of sit in the corner there, essentially indefinitely, just bumping the shuttle, and bumping my 2 aces, so that I never really move out of that corner, waiting for you to be completely committed to a vector before I commit to one.
Okay, so now I'm going to set up my pilot skill 4 ties, and I'm thinking more or less the same way that you are, that those 4 asteroids just around the dish on the Death Star there are there to make sure you can't get to my flank. If I set up a joust, I'll have 4 ships, you'll have 3, and hopefully I can make the best of that. If you do decide to try to flank me, if I go all 4 ships straight forward, it will take some maneuvering and maybe buy me a turn before you will get them in close, because I think I need to kill Yorr first.
It's the guy who says Black Squadron. Yeah. I can't see from here. I can't read that tiny writing from all the way over here.
Which was which? I'm confused.
Do you know what, with my
Yeah, the left one, or the centermost, is the Black Squadron. So if I remember correctly, we put a black little token there to make sure that it's easy to see from your end that he's the Black Squadron with crack shot. And I'm checking it with the one there, if it's wide enough for them to bank without bumping. It's a nice trick. Normally when you put them like that, the one that's turning in the inner side of the turning, that's a shorter one than the other one, but if you're more than one apart, the width of the maneuver template there, you can do the same and not bump. So let's see here what happens next.
So I'm thinking about which deployment I want to use here, because I can essentially block up the shuttle with Soontir or Vader. Using Soontir is easier because Soontir can essentially do it indefinitely with his hard 1 and his barrel roll. Vader doesn't have the hard 1, so he can't really block the shuttle in the same, well, as efficiently as Soontir. Now this only works when I set up the shuttle diagonally, which is something I've started doing more recently. I used to...
Do you know what I've done? I've got Darth Vader's base on Val.
I messed up the bases. What I used to do was deploy the shuttle facing forward, and then if I wanted to turn to the right, I'd do a hard 2. And I preferred that, and I still do in a way, because I find when the shuttle's deployed like this, and if it swings out to go forward, or even to the right, it leaves, you know, a good solid margin of board edge between itself and the closest board edge. And arc dodgers can nip in there, and once they're in there, they're really hard to shake, and they're getting range 1 shots and all of that. And that's really annoying. Having said that, the problem with pointing it forward is that if you want a hard... Well, pointing it forward, it's harder to block it. It gets a lot more distance out. Like if it's at an angle like this, you can block it way more efficiently to stop it moving forward. So there's pros and cons to both deployments, I think. The other thing about this one is it leaves your maneuvers a bit more ambiguous. If you want to turn in, you can do a 2-bank to rush, which is strong as well. If you want to do that, there's been plenty of times where I've decided to do that to my benefit. So here I decide to block with Vader, because I'm hoping if I sort of send Soontir around the side through the asteroids a bit, you might divide your forces. And I'm concerned about Soontir just being gunned down by Crackshot and Wampa. Vader I'm a bit more confident in because he's got his shields, and you know, I've got Palpatine as well, and I can only use Palpatine once. So if I send Soontir through the asteroids, then maybe you'll have fewer ships shooting at him, so he'll be able to survive for longer. Or, you know, if you do tear away a couple ships to shoot at him, or you know, your whole squad, that'd be great. Then I'd flank you with the shuttle and Vader, and that'd be ridiculous. But you know, because I don't know what kind of approach you're going to take. I'm sort of keeping it open. I can just hard 1 Soontir and barrel roll him and get back into formation with the other 2 ships. But what this does do is it means I can essentially only really effectively block the shuttle for 2 turns. So I'm hoping that you'll commit to a direction, you know, within a couple turns, and I can sort of, or commit to an approach. It doesn't, all those rocks across the middle of the board there blocking the approach down the my right side of the board there doesn't look very attractive. So I'm fairly confident, especially given the way you've deployed, that you're going to come straight at me. But it would obviously, but you know, I don't know if I want to risk, you know, moving out before I've had a chance to see when I don't have to. So I won't.
Yeah, one of the tricks you need to learn with the shuttle is to keep your opponent guessing from which approach you take, because once you commit with the shuttle, there is really no turning back, because getting around takes way too long. Even with the Palp shuttle, where Palp is the real issue or the real power, but still you need those 3 shots as many times as possible. So yeah, taking time before you're committing is good.
Yep, there it is, the elite shuttle maneuver, hard 1. Hard 1? Red stop. Full stop. Doesn't have a hard 1. That'd be glorious. So that's not as big a maneuver as I would have liked. I would have preferred for you to commit a bit more, It's very easy for you to reposition, and so if I want you to come far enough forward that if you do decide to turn to your left, that you know that I could then actually get some range 3 shots on you and even follow you if you're that committed. So here's that hard one from Soontir. Now this actually turns out to be a little bit of a problem for me later, as Soontir does move out a bit quicker than I would have liked.
And then I guess I'll focus.
What I really probably should have done there actually was barrel roll backwards so that I could 2-bank in next turn, which would have given me a bit more options. And so your Soontir does a big 3-turn here, and he's protecting your flank as well. And if our Soontirs are going in for a joust off, the chances of yours doing better are higher because you've got the stealth device. But I don't know, I put my faith in the dark side of the Force and our Lord Emperor as opposed to that fickle green die. But, you know, it'd be nice to have both. So here's that lovely 1-bank from Vader. I like doing that. I don't think there's any particular advantage in it. It just sort of appeals to me. The movement of it. Of course, the problem here is Vader can't actually barrel roll. He can't actually maneuver in such a way to block the shuttle again. So he's really not an efficient blocker for the shuttle on the opening turns here, which I'm not a huge fan of. Soontir's much more efficient. And you know, I don't know. Maybe I should have swapped them around, but I hadn't really flown Palp shuttle with Soontir and Vader much before. I'm usually last time I was flying something like this, it was the Doom shuttle with Whisper and Soontir, and they're completely different. You know, the Palp shuttle and the Vader shuttle couldn't be more sort of diametrically opposed. I mean, you're only changing one upgrade card, but it's everything. I mean, the shuttle is the crew member, and one is a suicide boat that wants to kill itself, destroying your most precious pieces, and this one is a buff boat that really wants to sort of get in the action, help thin out the herd, and then run away and continue providing a benefit, and you know, only come back into the fight if it's necessary or things are looking very good. You know, ideally it'll be leaving a trail of ships chasing it while the aces pick them apart, but that rarely happens because it's not very fast. So I think this is where I realized that I'm not super happy with my positioning for Soontir. You know, with his boost, I find Soontir most likes to be doing banks, because the boost and a bank allows you to be pointing. You know, it allows you to do essentially a large 90-degree turn in either direction. Whereas if you do a hard turn and then a boost, you've sort of got a bit too much turn or a bit too little turn. And so generally speaking, banking is his preferred alignment. And the banks here are not great. I guess it's also a big risk putting him into the asteroid field where his dial will be significantly impeded. But what I'm most concerned about is putting him in the asteroid field and everybody turns on him, and I've moved him in too fast, and he dies before I have a chance to bring Vader and the shuttle into the fight at all.
I'm never gonna get them all. Yep. Guess what this is? I guess it's green and a 1 maybe? Could be.
So there's the 1 forward from the shuttle, keeping it stalled nicely with Vader there, keeping it in the corner as you've described that you need to do here before I commit.
The Galactic Cup. That's great.
It also clears the stress, of course, making sure you can do the red stop again next turn.
I had dash and 2 white.
The interesting story here is like when the electronic baffle comes out with the Mist Hunter, which allows you to take damage instead of the stress, which would make the shuttle being able to stay stationary for very long if you just keep taking damage instead of the first stress one. And here are my TIE Fighter moves.
So now I'm confident that you've committed to this lane, which is great, because if you hadn't, I might be in trouble.
Blacks and crack shot are strong too.
Well, I'm thinking that, if I go up here and I'll get the shots next turn, maybe Vader even this turn, depends on how far he goes, and Soontir is turning into the debris of the asteroid there. It will take one turn before he joins the fight, and that's good.
So in the end, I actually chickened out, it seems, and didn't really commit to a lane. With Soontir, I didn't... And, with Soontir, because of his arc dodging and his boosting and his action economy, really choosing how hard to turn him and which direction he turns in is absolutely key, because every time you turn him too hard or too softly, you risk sacrificing your shot for position, or you risk sacrificing your tokens for position, and Soontir's useless if he's not shooting, or he's next to useless, and he's also extremely vulnerable without his green tokens. So, he's got a lot of tools to recover from a poor maneuver, but the really good players just choose one good maneuver and do that, or else they've picked such a bad maneuver that it doesn't matter whether they boost and barrel roll, they're still stuffed.
Where's my target lock?
Yeah, I was used to having a targeting computer, and he didn't have him in this build, which I hadn't really played much before. I'd been sort of playing around with the idea of this build for a long time. And I've had a few games with it now and done quite well. I'm really enjoying it, actually, although I do still miss the target lock. Yep, so as you can see, I am a bit of a novice with this particular build, because, I've flown a lot of Soontir, I've flown Vader before. What I hadn't considered was that if I suck the stress off of Soontir and put it on Yorr, I don't get my focus token.
Take the token. Yep.
So I barrel roll in here.
So here's my Soontir, and he's going straight up there. There's a nice lane between the topmost asteroid and those two that are aligned in the center. And this way I can get around your aces if you go straight for my ties, or I can bank in next turn to get crossfires on any ace that is running straight at me. Let's see, I don't remember what I decided to do, if I stayed put here, if I try to boost into
all
the
the same
shots.
deliberations that I have.
Yeah, boosting or just token one here and go for it next turn. It's tricky here. You need to pick the right action for Soontir to have him in the optimal position. There are no room for errors here.
I suppose it might not have been a bad idea here to actually charge Vader forward, try and get in close. See if I can just joust off with one of those ties, get behind your guys really early.
We'll do the boost to the right.
Spoiler alert, I haven't done that.
And then I will token up.
Range 3 shots through an asteroid. I don't think either Soontir will be hitting each other this turn. Well, I know they don't, but...
yeah. I figured this way, if you go straight, as you said with Vader here, I'll have 3 ships being able to shoot at him, and, Soontir on Soontir will not be much action, even if it sounds nice.
Expect lots of red bikes.
Yep, so instead I go for the small maneuver here.
So I'm gonna do.
I should have done the big one. Although I guess that would have parked. There was the danger Vader would have been parked right in a kill box there with everyone shooting at him.
Okay, so I'm out.
There might be fell action.
So here I'm really abusing the target lock
Yeah,
to check
two
range.
asteroids. At range 3.
Yeah, no targeting computer, so no, that's not going to be my...
I'm trying to decide whether I really want to go
Do you
forward.
always boost with Vader?
Because if I boost
Yeah.
forward, I'm probably going to be shot by 3 ships.
I mean, I'll check for a target lock on foul.
Yep.
And again, you try to We check the target lock range to see if Fel is in range, which means he's not, but if you move forward he will be. So I think Vader is pretty much where he wants to be here. If you go forward, he'll have a lot of shots coming his way, since he's easier to hit than Soontir. No Autothrusters at range 3. Though you could kill one of my TIEs before it shoots, if you do the target lock on him, but then you have no tokens for defense, so I'm thinking here that you should just stay put.
Yeah. Big decisions time.
So you just decided to token up with Vader with both actions, and my Vader is just flanking in behind my TIEs, setting up for next turn. I can get shots in. Thinking on actions here, if you should barrel vault one way or the other, if that's better.
We jousting each other with aces.
Yep. Then you just stay put in the corner.
When have I ever done that?
I don't know.
So I decided to barrel to the left there. Hoping that gives me more options as we approach in the next turn.
And then just
Also buying me a few inches or a few centimeters forward there.
pew pew.
And we're into the shooting phase here. So we're going to have some Soontir on Soontir action through the rock.
Range 3 through an asteroid. There we go.
I have too few dice.
Do you need an extra one?
Yeah, I need a 6 one.
Oh, no.
So your shooting is quite uneventful. There are 3 blanks. And you decide not to palp it, which of course is the correct choice here, since one hit can't hit Soontir there. And here's my attack. So it looks like with Autothrusters and everything, there's no chance of anything going through. And we're on 2 dials.
So the only thing we managed was
So this is quite a big turn, because if I'm not careful, I'm going to wind up with all 4 of your ships pointing at one ace, and that ace is going to die. And I'm also worried that if my aces move out to reposition, I'm going to wind up with all 4 of your ships pointing at my shuttle, and that shuttle is going to die. And as I mentioned earlier, leveraging the advantage I have with the shuttle is really, really important, because I don't have the positioning advantage, I don't have the ship advantage. I need to utilize Palpatine as much as possible to gain the upper hand there. Otherwise, I'm in real trouble. If I can use Yorr as well, that'd be great, but I haven't really, well, I haven't got the sort of experience with this list at this point to really get the most out of Yorr. This is the first time I've flown him. At least in this kind of list. I think. Might be the first time I've ever flown him. But I played a couple tournaments with this list now, and there is some incredible things Yorr can do. I've really come around to him. I'm a huge fan of his now. Especially in the current meta. I mean, it's always going to be a meta choice and stuff like that. I think at the moment Yorr is really good. He can just do so much to help you out.
Yeah, relieving stress when you're facing the stress hog or K-wings with tacticians in danger zone, as Aaron Barnard did. You know, just like get a second stress on Fel and then just remove it, or if they try to stress out Vader, you can help a lot.
We're basically playing chicken here, you know, the maneuvers we choose and what we foresee from our opponents will be absolutely critical. You know, this turn and the next turn are going to decide the entire game. So, making sure we make intelligent choices here and look ahead is really, really crucial.
Okay, we'll do that.
Do you sacrifice shots or position now for advantage later, perceived advantage later? Or do you go all out? So I'm really considering what I'm going to do with Fel here, because if you block him with your ties and he's got no actions, he's a goner. I mean, I can't imagine that you could block him, or that you would block him with the ties and then not also get arc. The issue you've got, which I can see, is that if you blast the ties forward to block me, you risk blocking your own Fel. Although I don't think that that's going to be too much of an issue, really. Your Fel can slow roll a 2 forward, and you can blast those ties 3 or 4 forward, and you should be okay. Maybe they need to go 4 or 5. But I am deeply concerned that if they come rocketing forward, block my Fel, your Fel and Vader will just clean him up, and I'll be... that'll be game. What I'm thinking is if I hard turn to behind that asteroid and try to come back into the fight that way...
Your Vader's got engine too, it's gutting.
Will he be out of the fight for so long, I won't have the chance to bring him back in, and while you kill my shuttle invader.
They're excellent points, and that's kind of what I was hoping for with this setup, that you would choose one of your aces to go into the asteroids.
Despite all our best efforts, everyone will just bomb.
So here we are joking about bumping as well, and yet we'll have to see what happens. I'm concerned that if I hard turn him 2 to the right, then you'll come in either with your Soontir or your Vader. If your Vader 3 banks to the left, you'll cut off any attempt I make to flank with Soontir. You'll have a shot, I won't. You know, if I boost to try and get more turn in so I can get back into the fight quicker, I'll have 1 less token as well.
Okay.
You know,
Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
if I'm
Trial
gonna
by fire.
risk taking 2 shots. So here comes the 1 bank. I'm thinking, at least if I get the shuttle into the fight a bit, he'll get some shots, and he'll get some turnout here, and you know, then it might even tempt you to shoot him with your...
The sticky down ones, the guy in the Nordics.
Yeah, that's, you know, it's nice to setting up as a bait there, because when you face Palpatine on 2 aces, it's always tricky. Who do you target? I mean, you want to take Vader out first. He's normally the easiest one to kill. But if he eludes you, or if you roll poorly, you know, you allow Palpatine to stay alive for so much longer, helping out and keeping Vader alive. So the shuttle is a very tempting target when you move it into range. And even today, I'm still not sure which is the best target.
Something I can mention them on the cast and tell people to go there or something.
So there we go. I'm sort of presenting the shuttle to you in an attempt to sort of get you distracted from my aces. And here comes the 5 forward.
Now, this is the question. Where is we going?
I'm fairly confident that unless you get all your ships firing at the shuttle, you won't be able to kill it. And even if you do fire all your ships at the shuttle, I'm still fairly confident you won't be able to kill it. Because you're not at range 1, which means you've got a maximum of 10 dice. So you'd have to hit and do damage with everything. And I'm hoping that green die will at least keep me alive 1 more round.
He's never going to get the queen. Why not?
Yeah, if you barrel roll that TIE fighter here,
We'll see.
I'm in serious trouble. Yeah.
I was thinking about it, you could get the bump of Fell, but even if you did that and I ignored it, Fell would be out of the fight for 1 round, and the focus token might give me another hit on the shuttle if I concentrate on that, which I think is what I decided here.
So if I try and decide here whether to boost or not, I'm wondering if I boost, will it put me too far towards that big asteroid? I won't be able to hard turn in. I'm quite nicely set up for a hard turn next turn, but then if your Soontir's hard turned in, if your Vader's pelting forward, you could still have shots on me. If I boost this 1 less token. And we all know that the tokens are required, the green dice are fickle.
I take everything. Yep.
Yep. So in the end I decide not to boost. I'm thinking that hard turn 2 next turn is too appealing. I also think I'm less likely to be shot next turn by multiple ships.
Can you get past that?
So I just move forward 2 straight and decide here to token up Soontir to concentrate on the shuttle. I think I've determined that that's my plan of action here, unless Vader bumps.
So I think I'm 5 forward, 4 forward.
Screw you, Palpatine. You're on your own.
Yeah.
A 4K pulling the stress back onto Yorr there would have been amazing. But because I've 5 forwarded, well, because I didn't know how far forward the ties were coming, I couldn't risk it. And also I don't think that I'd actually thought about doing that at this time. Now I 4K and put the stress on Yorr all the time. It's amazing. But at this point I don't think I'd even thought about doing that. So now I'm just thinking, where's your Vader going? Do I want to risk boosting and target locking and having no tokens? More importantly, who do I target lock? I want to get Fell, but I could just waste my entire life shooting Vader at Fell for no benefit.
Read the rules, Dad.
Boosts.
So I do boost because I want to get some turn in, because I don't want to have to K-turn. And I want to be in a better position next round. And then I lock your Vader because I don't think you're going to get me an arc this round. And then I'll have it set up for next time.
Was a good call as I 3 banked to the right there, and I was kind of calculating that your Vader would go fast and zoom by. So I need to get all my ships firing at the shuttle here. That's the plan, more or less. So I'm trying to get the target lock here with Vader, and unfortunately I think he's just out of range here, so I can't get the target lock and the focus, which I really need here. So that's like millimeters in your favor there. So I decide to boost to get in range, and then the question is always, do I target lock, risk taking a lot of damage when you shoot back at Vader if you target him, or do I focus for possible help on the offense, but definitely in the defense if I don't need it? So yeah, decide to do that.
You focused.
And depending on what you roll, you will know if you did the right choice there.
Focused because it meant that without a direct hit or a major explosion, you actually don't have the firepower to kill the shuttle anymore, because you've got a total of 9 attack dice, and I have 10 hull.
Well, that's true, but I don't think I'm actually counting on doing all those 10 hits in one round here. You will do a few greens, and if you really need it, you can always use Palp on the defense to make sure that I can't get all 10 hits in. And as we can see here, my shooting isn't the most efficient one here.
So I'm considering the use of
If you're going to
Palpatine.
use him on defense, you might as well use him right away.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
I'm thinking about whether I want him to shoot the ties later.
Yep.
So I'm gonna just tip the card.
Yeah, okay. One shield.
Yep.
And then we have Yorr.
Yeah, right. You wrote Wampa.
Wampa.
Range 2 on Wampa, yeah.
So now we have Yorr shooting here. Looks like 2 hits or a hit and a crit. And I have to spend my focus on Wampa there to be safe.
So it doesn't matter. So I'm going to go Black Squadron.
Black Squadron.
2 on 1.
We have my ties shooting here. And that's 2 hits from the Black Squadron. And they go through, so 2 more shields. And then Wampa blanks out. So not the shooting I was hoping for there. I was at least hoping to eat into the hull of the shuttle there.
So now comes another critical deliberation. How far forward do I go with the shuttle? Are you going to risk the K-turn with the TIE fighters? And because if you go if I stop and you go too forward, you'll have 2 range 1 shots on me, and I'm in real trouble. But if I go 1 forward, my slowest move other than the stop, I'll be, if I make it at all, I'll be right in front of you, and your K-turn will easily clear me. My base is too large, too long, so your 3K will clear it, your 4K will easily clear it. So what I decide in the end is that if I go forward to bump and you K-turn, you'll have 2 range 1 shots on me, and I'll have no shots on you. It's true I might be able to bump your aces, which would be great, but I might not. Vader might do a soft bank to the right and bank and boost behind me. Soontir might do a hard 2 and I don't catch him. So I think what I'm thinking is that if you risk the K-turn and I stop and you just bump into me and you're stressed, this sets me up beautifully for the longer game where you have to now clear that stress, so you're unable to turn around, thus essentially freeing the shuttle for at least 2 rounds from TIE fighter shots. So if if you come forward and get actions, you've got 2 range 1 shots with tokens, but if I move forward and you K-turn, you've got 2 range 1 shots and I've got no shot, plus now you're behind me, and yeah, I could pull another stop and then hope you shoot past me, but you could just continue to bump into my rear until I'm forced to move forward, and while you follow me around the board slowly taking range 1 shots until I die. So I do the stop. So I say there actually that the only thing we can do here is make our best guess about what our opponent might do. But in the end, I really didn't have a clue about what you would do. And so as I explained earlier, I'm essentially making, I'm trying to minimize the risk. I really don't. Both choices are unappealing. And so I'm taking what I feel to be the smaller of the 2 risks.
Moment of truth.
Moment of truth. Ready?
Yep.
There it is. The full stop.
Good poker face. You play poker? I have no idea if that was good for you or not.
So you have done the 4K. And I was so relieved.
You can help me with that one?
So this is actually slightly different. Then I guess
In
you.
case I flanked you with Fel. I mean, in case I do flank you with Fel.
See?
So I guess I was wondering if you thought I might turn right with Fel, and come back around that way, rather than turning towards the asteroid. Or,
No, he's not going to get a shot.
but I think you were more concerned about the blocking your own aces rather than what I was doing with my Fel. So there's that hard 2 I was waiting for next turn. Of course, now I'm just sort of
Yep.
right behind. I'm behind you, which is great, but I'm pointing
Around the asteroids.
well out of shot. So, do I risk not
You know what?
taking
I'm gonna take
a
huge
stress?
gamble here, and I'm not going to push the limit.
Oh, I risk it.
Yeah, you were correct on assuming my turning one there. You know, just getting out of our Fel's Invader's way, because I was probably figuring that, you know, if I K-turn with one and it bumps and I get the other one out of the way, there wouldn't be any risk for my aces at least.
There we go. Both of us doing the exact same thing.
Your Fel and my Fel chasing each other around an asteroid.
And this is when you realize, you know, that even if you got that TIE fighter out of the way, it's still in the way from the boost there. I think I was thinking about maybe a boost to the right to get shots on Yorr there. And my TIE fighter is probably in the way for even the right boost, definitely for the straight one. So slightly miscalculation there. I should have barrel rolled with the black squadron. And well, that's how you learn to fly the list. I think this is my 3rd time flying this list. First time live, only on Vassal before, so you need to get practicing for the tournament here. So it's nice that you do the mistakes now.
The right.
Yep.
So then you change targets. Go after the shuttle instead.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy here that the right boost actually fit, and the black squadron wasn't in the way. So trading shots with the shuttle here is probably fine if I token up. And you know, I just might even be out of arc. It's tricky to see here.
This is mine. Okay. I have the dots.
Here comes your Vader, or turning 2, and giving chase on my Fel, or barreling to the right there to try to shoot at him or at Vader. And we're just waving nicely at your Fel there. But I think you're barrel rolling here. Yep, here it comes.
So here I'm just trying desperately to sort of get some more shots in as we pass through this joust. I realize I've done 0 damage to your ships, and I'm not in particularly great positions either. I'm not totally upset with my positioning, but I don't have any shots, and that's always bad. I mean, Fel has no shots. Vader looks like he might be left with 1 range 3 shot at your Fel, which is not going to do any damage, especially if I don't have the target lock, so I change it.
I assume that's in range. Yeah. It's definitely in range.
Yep.
So I'm hoping maybe if I do 2 shots on Fel here, I'll be able to break through your stealth device and your token fortress. So that was unexpected.
Please make this boost fit.
Yeah, I'm not really sure why or now as I'm looking at it, but I think I was, you know, in case you moved your shuttle forward, I would bump with Vader, and then your Vader might be behind me with the target lock and a focus, the way it was before you moved. I didn't know what you were going to do. So I think that's why I decided if I'm going to hunt Fel instead, and then I'm sure I'm not going to bump at least.
There we go. Why didn't I push the limit?
Vader first.
That's what I'm
Well, my
thinking.
Vader fires at range 3 at your...
Yeah, that's a tough call. You know, you want to stay unstressed there to do a hard one next turn and so on. But you know,
Should have kept the shot.
if there's even the slightest risk that you'll be shot with Fel or at Fel, yeah, you need to do push the limit, but you never know. So your Vader's shot at my Fel are fruitless, which was to be expected. Comes my Vader and your Fel, adding the crit from the
So.
ATC there, so 3. And you know, if you don't get all 3 here, where you do have Palp, you know, I'm hoping here 1 goes in, and maybe the crit will be really hard. But you get 2 evades, and then you can Palp 1 to be safe.
That's
Grumble, grumble.
jammy.
My Fel, because your Fel has no shot.
It's range 1, I believe.
Maybe, maybe not. It's in the arc.
Let's just grab this doodad here and check for power.
Just been spinning.
I think it's range 2,
Yeah,
actually.
I think so too.
So we're checking arc for or range from my Fel, so we decided it's range 2 on Palpatine, and they hit. So I think I'm into hull now. You get a damage there, I think.
Good.
0 agility.
Didn't need it anyway. So this is return fire, my shuttle.
You have range 1 shot, so
I do have a range 1 shot on Fel.
yep.
Well, question is, do I take that?
3 on Vader.
My, or range 3 on Vader, yeah.
Yes, I'm concerned that I'm going to waste all my firepower shooting at Fel for absolutely no return at all.
I'm gonna take the range 3 on Vader.
I figure at least on Vader, you've got no tokens that you could just blank out and take some damage.
Okay.
You're A-okay.
But nothing
So
happens.
nothing happened at all this turn. All of that planning.
Well, you're killing the shuttle.
That's true.
And that's a problem because that's the only thing I got going for me.
So I'm wondering here whether you're going to turn into the shuttle with Fel, basically getting him. If I move the shuttle forward, you're going to have Fel behind the shuttle, which is the end of days. I've only got 4 hull, and I've got no agility, which is extremely bad news. But if you know, but if I don't move the shuttle, I mean, sorry, but if if I don't move the shuttle, there's a chance Fel will bump, or I don't get a shot on him with no tokens, or perhaps she'll turn away, and then if I turn out, I might be able to get the shuttle chasing Fel, which is not particularly great either. But I need to start leveraging some shots on Fel with multiple ships, because if I'm shooting at Fel with 1 ship around, it's a wasted shot every time. You'll tank 1 shot, no problem, every time I shoot at you. I mean, even if all 3 shoot at Fel, there's a chance he could tank them all, which is... I mean, there's always a chance, but his odds are still reasonably good, I think, especially if he's at range 3 of some of them. So I've got to choose my target carefully. And Vader is my preferred target because your Vader's moving last. You've got the most flexibility to manipulate what arcs I've got on him. So your Fel is a stronger choice for ensuring I've got multiple shots, but he's also got that stealth device and all those tokens, which are incredibly good at...
Yeah. Okay. It's probably going to be a disaster. Ready?
Yeah. Bumping?
Yeah, it goes nowhere.
So you move the shuttle 1 forward, bumping into my TIE fighter and clearing the stress. And then we're on to my TIE fighters. So I K-turned the black squadron there in case your shuttle would have moved or gotten in range there. Might be a range 3 shot. And then I'm trying to clear your shuttle with a 2 bank that is green to clear the stress from Wampa, and it clears the stress, but I think it's just too short to get past the shuttle there.
Yeah. So let me just. I need another 2. Oh yeah, put it on. Nope, I don't think so. No, not at all. Nope.
Yeah, it's just a few millimeters too short there, so he stays put.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yep. So Yorr Soontir.
Right. This could be a catastrophic problem. Or it could be an amazing interceptor dance.
Yep, so this is a stupid mistake that I made. I could have done a hard 1.
It is.
And I don't know why I decided to do the 3.
You're supposed to be good at this game, do you know what? I had the 1 in there and I took it out.
I changed. This is another example of me second guessing myself for 0 benefit.
Okay. And my user here. So I'm doing the safe move here.
And I hard turn to the left there, not risking running into your shuttle in case your Vader comes behind me there. You know, normally that's how you play Soontir. You don't gamble with him unless you know it's already over, or you know you really need that extra point if he gets to shoot, if you can take something off the board, if you're pretty lucky.
Okay, so boost right, barrel roll right as far as possible.
Straight forward?
Yeah, first.
And here I'm just trying to make sure I have enough space between my Fel and your Vader, so I'm sure that it'll be a range 3 shot if you have a shot, so that means I have focus and I have thrusters if I roll an evade.
Well, I was kind of hoping you'd have done, I don't know, tried to get behind the shuttle again maybe. But,
Yeah, so you've repositioned Soontir here, and I'm thinking I need to at least take something off the board and score some points, so maybe I can kill this TIE
so I
Fighter.
gotta kill something.
Yeah, Wampa is kind of stressed there with Vader breathing down his neck.
Misses that rock.
Hello.
Gets it behind me with a range 1 shot.
I eat bumped interceptors for breakfast.
Well, he's
I am seriously concerned here now.
I'm not going to give that, please. Yeah.
Of course, I deserve to explode and die here because it's my own stupid fault that I bumped on my ship and I'm just sat there. And I need incredible luck to survive this.
Wow, a Palpatine.
Yeah.
And
Good call.
I'm incredulous. Two turns in a row, I've rolled two evades and a blank and palped it for complete evasion.
Wow. I need your Vader on my team.
And Wampa is not as lucky as 1 crit is going in there. And it's a major explosion, which then causes me to get another crit, which gives me a stress, I think, here.
Get a stress. Please stabilizer.
So it's another stress for Wampa. Poor guy's just not going anywhere.
Damage cards to make up for my poor damage output.
So, are you going to shoot first if you have range?
Oh yeah, the shuttle. I don't think he's got shots on anyone.
No pre-release.
So, range 3 with that.
So my black squadron has a range 3 shot there on the shuttle, which is a 1. And that's evaded, I think.
I don't have that agility guy. Shall I re-roll it? Yeah, re-roll. Yeah. I forgot about that.
You roll one die too many there, so we're re-rolling here.
And he is 1, 2, 1. He's
So
got
Chris,
3 on.
Chris graciously lets me re-roll
Yeah, I'll use it.
because I rolled too many agility die. I didn't have the inherent agility, and then I re-roll it into an evade, of course.
Stupid fell.
So he crack shots. So I'm beginning to think the game is going to be running on for time. Soontir's got to turn around. Wampa's got one hull left and he's stressed. And it doesn't look like he's going very far. But I'm not going to have any shots on him with Vader this turn. Or at least it's extremely unlikely. And I've got to kill something. Because you've done half damage to the shuttle. So I'm 16 points down. Which means that I need to kill at least both of your TIE fighters to get a victory. Your aces are completely unharmed at this point. I've also decided I'm not going to make a catastrophic failure with Soontir this turn.
And I think I'm getting pretty upset here that I haven't killed your Soontir yet. I have had 2 shots at range 1 with Vader. We have been tokenless, and I don't think I'm going to get any more chances like that. So, you know, I should have killed Soontir by now if I was going to do it. So I'm thinking here, like, I need to kill something, even though, you know, Soontir is a nice target for Vader to chase, and he will still have to chase him because there's no other way to go. But I would really like to be able to take out the shuttle, since it's down to 3 hit points, 4 I think here, and keep my Soontir alive. And as you said, we're going to time here, so I think we're going to play. Oh, we'll see how many more turns there are, but we're getting close to time, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Yep. Oh, it's another stop.
Okay. So I'm going to stay put again. I will not keep stress. And then this guy will do 2 straight.
As long as Chinese are playing.
Okay, so we're good. Yeah.
Yep, so I decided to keep the shuttle put again because sending him out only seemed like it wasn't really going to do me any favors at this point.
Execute a 3 hard this time without just screwing myself up again.
So
Hey, he pulls it off.
I'm hoping Soontir might be able to one-shot your black squadron, or else maybe take out Wampa.
There.
No, I'm going after the black.
And then I'm going to focus evade. Well, then I'm going to evade, so I'll take focus as well.
Okay.
So I hard turn 2 with Soontir to clear the stress, and now I have to decide how to move because I'm scared of your Vader here. If he 3 hearts to the left, he will have a perfect shot at my fell with no return fire. So I'm thinking here if I have to get your Soontir in arc so I can have him and Vader targeting Soontir, I think here, and still be able to survive Vader's attack. So I think I'm gonna boost left and token up. And I also like my Soontir's position here because I think I can bank 2 to the right next turn, getting into the asteroid to get out of the furball and avoid collisions next turn if I need to. And here's your Vader move, 2 hard to the left. So you're setting up 2 shots at my black squadron, so he'll probably die before he gets a shot off at the shuttle here.
So
Take focus.
my goal here is for my 2 aces to simply annihilate that black squadron and score me some points. But my issue is, of course, what am I going to do about Wampa? If I don't kill Wampa as well, then I've lost.
You need 3 more hits to die.
3 more hits to die.
I'm also thinking if my aces can take out that tie, then at least that's one less thing shooting at the shuttle. If the shuttle doesn't die, good news. He's got no agility still.
And here I'm contemplating, you know, do I send Vader for the shuttle, trying to finish it off? Or do I keep chasing Soontir, since I have 2 of my ships shooting at him, if I can get Vader on him? And I do have the target lock on Fel here, so I decide to barrel roll and go for Fel, I think, which in hindsight probably is the wrong call, because I do target lock the shuttle and it has 0 agility. I might score the remaining damage on it, but I'm not really sure if it's on 3 or 4 hull. But I decide to go for Soontir here again. I'm probably pretty frustrated. He should be dead, so I'm trying my hardest here, which normally is the wrong call. Don't chase Soontir when you have easier targets.
Just range 1, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you can get it. So yeah, it's on
By a hair, yeah. Come on, Vader.
So here we have your Vader shooting at my black squadron.
Well, spin that focus.
Okay. No Palpatine?
Not yet. So, spin focus. Very good.
And my Vader. So
Hits, but he needs to spend his focus to do so.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I was super relieved when you elected to shoot at Fel here instead
I
of the
think
shuttle.
it's just,
I felt that because you didn't have the target lock on the shuttle, he wasn't going to die anyway.
no rock.
But when you chose to barrel roll and focus, you know, you
You have to spend it.
had already committed to
3, so you
Fel,
can get 3 again
so
anyway, but maybe. Well,
Spin the Vader. Okay, so my fell on your black squadron.
yeah.
but yeah, that would have been the end of the shuttle if you target locked him.
It's closer than Vader. So
Well, it may not have been, but it could easily have been.
Well, shit. I'm gonna focus, and I'm gonna Palpatine.
okay.
Desperate to kill that TIE fighter.
I think he's dead. So yeah,
If you could just do me the courtesy of exploding a die,
2
I'd
and
be
1.
super appreciative.
So 1 and blinded. So if he would have lived, he couldn't shoot.
And you take out the black squadron there, and as you said, getting Vader on Fel was probably the wrong call. He should have gone for the shuttle, moved the target lock to have at least a chance at killing it. But that's why you do this, so you can learn for next time.
Yeah.
That's why we take the target
Yeah.
computer.
He's pretty safe.
And my Fel just decides not to kill your Fel there, so just going 1 hit, which you easily evade.
What else am I gonna do?
You're going 3 right?
Yeah.
And your shuttle fails to hit.
So, now I've got a problem. Time is running out and Wampa's still alive,
Yeah, I will do my best.
which means that you're winning by a point. And if you kill the shuttle, you're winning by 17 points.
This is now the final turn of the game here, which will have a bearing on some decisions we make here, and we'll get to that soon.
Which means that if I kill Wampa and you don't kill the shuttle, I'm ahead by 13. Is that correct? Yep, I'm ahead by 13. But if I fail to kill Wampa and you fail to kill the shuttle, you still win by 1 point. However, Wampa is not going to get the shuttle in arc. He's stressed, so he can't reasonably get shots on the shuttle. Which means you have to commit your Vader and your Soontir to shooting it. Soontir, because of that asteroid there, he's not going to be able to get shots on the shuttle and avoid that asteroid and my aces too. So this is a chance for me to get shots on Soontir. Your Vader hasn't got... Well, I want to try and block your Vader with the shuttle, because then he's got no shots. And that neutralizes him. So really what I want is to try and neutralize Vader and get both of my aces shooting at Soontir.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like my initial dial for Soontir here is the 2 bank to the right, getting out of harm's way with him, and then I know that since it isn't the last turn of the game, I decide, hey, screw it, and I dial in a too hard to the left, just to say I just might get that shot on the shuttle, and you know, if you kill me, you kill me. I wouldn't do the move if this was a tournament game. And then when it comes to Vader, I'm thinking, will a 4K fit there first? 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, flip around. Will I get Wampa out of way in order to get that one there? Or should I do something else? And if you decide to stay put with the shuttle, a 4K Vader will have his rear towards the shuttle, which is not a good spot to be when you're stressed and out of actions. Also, if you bank to the left with your shuttle, my 4K with Vader wouldn't clear anyway. So I'm really thinking there's no good move for Vader here.
It was very disappointing here that I wasn't going to be able to get Wampa back in arc. But if I could get Wampa and save the shuttle, that would be the most
I'm just hanging on to this one for a minute while I think about
secure way to win. But there's just... The only way to get Wampa would be to K-turn Vader and put the stress onto Yorr. Unfortunately, I hadn't actually thought about that as an option. I didn't realize it at the time. Furthermore, that would also mean potentially exposing my back to Soontir. But, you know, if you hard turn to the right with Soontir, he's out of there, and I've got nothing.
It's going to be the turn, isn't it?
And you've got the 1 point win. So the shuttle books it.
Is that okay? Yeah. Thanks.
And you do indeed do the bank maneuver there, so a 4K from Vader would have bumped into you, I think, there. So I think I realized that that's at least a good choice, not to pick the K-turn.
I guess as my action, I will attempt to fix my critical. It is not fixed. I've decided not to waste Palpatine on that.
You can flip him up again, so remember.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this guy.
He was determined to get out of there. Wampa was like, I have been stuck here way too long. Yeah, I'm sick of it. I fell? Yeah.
So there I go. I'm hoping to bump your Soontir. And this is where we realize that actually blocking your Soontir with my Soontir is not actually a terrible idea.
And here comes my dumb move with Soontir, since let's try to get a shot at least on the shuttle here with Soontir, instead of doing the safe to bank to the right to get out of the action. And as I said before, had this been the tournament game, I would have run like hell and try to win on point.
that okay? Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to put my fingers here, and you can just go ahead and do that. Save me screwing it up any further. Huh? Okay?
Narrowly dodging the rock.
Here? Alright, well, let's see if I screwed this up.
And as we see here, had I run, he wouldn't have had a shot at Wampa, which means he would have been alive, and I would have been ahead on points here.
Okay, you're done?
Yep, that's it. Hard as expected.
So here comes your Vader.
I've exposed my rear to the Dark Lord of the Sith. I am at his mercy.
I will never get through that. Okay.
So, my shot first?
Yeah.
Yep. So this is the 3 dice attack here. Shit, that couldn't have gone worse. So I think... Yeah, I've got to spend the focus,
And use
help a crit,
Yep.
and add a crit.
Yep.
So that's everything.
4 natural evades now.
Done in... There's Palpatine as well.
And while your Soontir could survive 2 range 1 shots without tokens from my Vader, my Soontir couldn't survive anything.
Okay. Nothing needed to roll again.
So there we go. I used all the assets in my power to get Soontir there, and there was always the chance for many evades.
So I'm shooting with my Vader on your Vader here. Move the target lock with him since I have Wampa also shooting at him, which means there is actually a chance of doing the 5 damage cards needed here, or hits needed. Yes, but it's not going through all of it. He's getting a stress there, I believe.
Let's see, Wampa or Vader.
Yep, range 2 from Wampa.
Sure. Along the line, I think it's range 2. Yeah, it's range 2.
Oh yeah, because I was taking it from the back.
In arc is range 2. I just need a crit.
And Wampa fails to score any hits at all there.
Yeah, what a close game. What a close game. If it wasn't for Palpatine helping me out that entire game.
If you didn't kill him, it would be...
So that was the end of the first game with Mike. Stay tuned, the second one will be available soon as well. And hopefully you've learned some nice things here from Mike's discussion of how he was planning everything, and how important or not the initiative roll can be when you have aces moving at the same pile skill there. And as I said, in a tournament game you always take the safe bet with Fel. You never chance, but you can do it when it's one game like this. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more games. There's one more against Mike coming soon.